Hello, we're Accord Voting, data standardization for the future of blockchain voting systems. Our analysis of the complex geopolitical landscape made it clear that the level and quality of democracies around the world is highly varied. More importantly, all states, whether first world or developing, experience dire democracy deficiencies. As a result, many blockchain voting companies are coming to fruition, motivated by the prospect of fighting political corruption with solutions that shift decisional power to voters. The problem is how these startups will diffuse over time without standards and best practices. Our market analysis revealed that different blockchain voting applications today are built with their own data standards, markup languages, and frameworks. This poses three main issues. Systems cannot communicate or interact at all so that their reach and impact is limited. Communication and education for voters will vary with each system, making the user experience confusing if you're voting in different elections. And lastly, startups will continue to face marketing and adoption challenges, like resistance from political leaders, as they try to communicate their unique tech in an already infant space. We want to uplift social impact companies who are already making strides for democracy by providing them with a standardized data schema that is accredited and ready to use for any voting use case.
The business model of Accord Voting is similar to other organizations like ISO and Schema.org. Our value proposition is that you save time and money on development, security, legal issues, and training by using an industry-wide standard. When you support Accord, you also get access to our open source code libraries and our community. First and foremost, Accord will be paid to assess and validate that an organization's systems meet our specifications. On top of that, we will consult and advise voting systems for governments, corporations, and communities to implement and customize large-scale systems for them. Accord Voting is built on Hyperledger, which is an open source project for building blockchain apps with different modular services similar to AWS. We chose Hyperledger because it gives us the most reach in terms of developers and business use cases. You can build JavaScript or Solidity contracts and deploy them to both private and public blockchains, depending on your needs. Accord Voting utilizes Hyperledger Composer, which is an app development toolkit. We used it to model our data standard and then push that to Hyperledger Fabric to deploy our application. Accord Voting focuses on three major social impact metrics: financial savings, civic engagement, and diversity inclusion. With our standardization, we can save companies and government billions of dollars every year in election costs just in the United States alone. Using a single software system removes the need for specialized staff's training and being locked into a single vendor, among other costs. And because Accord Voting is an open source platform, your development costs are vastly reduced and any expenditures are given back to the community for exponential impact. Additionally, with blockchain systems, it makes it easier to conduct digital elections, removing all the costs of labor, machines, and marketing that physical locations and voting centers have. We are promoting civic engagement by making the election process easier to understand and participate in. By making elections cheaper and more methodical to roll out, Accord Voting makes direct democracy a lot more feasible, meaning citizens can be involved in government on a consistent basis. Inclusion is very important to us, and it's what drove us to make a universal adoption with Accord Voting. By being a general standard instead of a specific application, Accord can be applied to any voting mechanism, even paper ballots. So we designed our data standard to be applied for old school paper ballots, traditional EVMs, and online voting. This means that Accord can be adapted to any context, whether an election in a developing country with no internet infrastructure or a first world nation with all the capabilities at hand.
Accord Voting has completed our data standardization schema for votes and decisions. We have also started designing events and transactions that will be implemented within voting systems for notifications, automation, security, and other typical application needs. Following the incubator, we will recruit and build a team to develop templates. It's an aggressive and optimistic timeline, but we want our V1 product offering to be live by the end of the year. Our first release will include our schema, supporting documentation, templates, and user manuals. Long term, we're looking to get accredited by organizations like the United Nations and Schema.org. Especially in the context of globalization, we firmly believe that collaboration and interoperability is key to the adoption of distributed systems. Standardization for blockchain voting systems should be viewed as an efficiency mechanism. They exist to help support, guide, and propel digital democracy